Hello everybody, Merry Christmas. This is So Says the Leader talking. I thought for this video I would showcase one of a new deck that I have just constructed. It's called the Fleur Deck, and thanks to legendary duelist Synchro Storm and Battle of Legend 2021 or Brothers of Legend, I have finally completed this deck, and I'd like you to see it. First, we'll get into the monsters. We have two Fleur Synchrons. Two Fleur Synchrons. If you synchro summon using this card as synchro material, you can special summon one level 2 or lower monster from your hand. Next, we have two Guinevere, Queen of Noble Arms. These cards can help a certain card that I have in the deck. If this card is equipped to a light monster, and that light monster would be destroyed by a card effect, you can destroy this card instead. I'm not going to get into the dark type because I don't have a dark noble knight monster to equip. Next, we have two Horse of the Floral Knights. Two Horse of the Floral Knights. It allows you to fusion summon without polymerization for a certain monster that is in my extra deck. Next, we have two Necro Fleurs. Two Necro Fleurs allows you to, if it's destroyed by a card effect, you can just summon a Sorcière de Fleur from your deck. Next, we have two Necro Synchrons. This card can become Fleur Synchron while it's on the field or in the graveyard. Also, you can increase a monster's level by 2 except for Necro Synchron. Next, we have two Noble Knight Jones. This is what Guinevere, the Queen of Noble Arms, is for, because if this card attacks, it loses 300 attack during the damage step only. Also, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, then target one level 4 or lower warrior monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Next, we have two Noble Knights Shield Bearers. This card can add a light monster from your can banish a light monster from your hand or field and draw one card. Also, it can banish this card from your hand or field. Add one level 4 lower or lower winged beast type monster from your deck to your hand. Next, we have two Noble Knight Shield Spear Holders. These cards can add a equip spell from your deck to your hand if it's tributed. Next, we have Sarge de Fleur. Sarge de Fleur can target one monster you control and one card on the field, destroy both targets, and special summon this monster. Also, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, target one other monster in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck. Then you can special summon one level 1 plant monster from your deck or graveyard and add it to your hand. You can only use that effect once per turn. Next, we have two Sorcière de Fleurs, which are vital if you're using Necro Fleur and have it in your deck. It can special summon this card it can special summon a monster from your opponent's graveyard, but that monster is destroyed at the end of the turn. Next, we have White Steed of the Floral Knights. When this card is in your graveyard, you can destroy a face-down card and banish this card from your graveyard. And also, you can special summon this card in defense mode if you have a level 2 or lower monster on the field. Next, we have the spell cards. Have one Dark Room of Nightmare. This is to increase effect damage. If if your opponent takes effect damage by a card effect except for Dark Room of Nightmare, inflict 300 points of damage to your opponent's life points. Next we have 2 Different Dimension Reincarnation. These cards can special summon a banished monster for the discard of 1 card, but if this card gets removed from the field, the monster is destroyed. 1 Occult Zone, which can disrupt your opponent's plays by special summoning mass tokens and destroying monsters. Also, we have 2 Fleur Deck. These cards can special summon a level 2 or lower monster from your graveyard, but it also negates that monster's effects. Also, if the card is sent to the graveyard because an opponent synchro summoned, except because the player synchro summoned, you can equip this card to the synchro monster and gain 700 attack points. Now we have 2 Hand Destruction. This is basically for draw power. Draw power, if you can, both players send 2 cards from their hand to the graveyard and draw 2 new cards. That's for draw power, as you can see. These are 2 Heritage of the Chalices. 2 Heritage of the Chalice, which basically can add Noble Knights from your deck to your hand. This is vital if you're going to be summoning Noble Knight Shield Bearer or Noble Knight Spear Holder. 1 Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm basically, one Lightning Storm can destroy attack position monsters on your opponent's field, or destroy all spell and traps that your opponent controls. But you have to have no monsters to make that resolve. Next, you have Monster Reborn. As you know, can special summon a monster from either player's graveyard. Next, we have Soulbinding Gate. It activates if you control no monsters, and if Zone is in your graveyard, and your life points are, and if your opponent summons if a monster with less attack points than your total life points is summoned, you can destroy that monster and inflict 800 damage to both players. That's vital for Dark Room of Nightmare. Then we have Synchro Dilemma. Let's see what Synchro Dilemma does. Send 1 Synchro monster from your hand to the graveyard, or hand or face-up field to the graveyard. Special summon a monster from your hand, or destroy another card on the field. And if you do, special summon 1 Synchro monster with a different original name from your hand or graveyard. You can only use that once per turn. And of course, Zone is my main card. Zone is when this card is destroyed while face down, you can add a continuous spell or field spell from your deck from your graveyard to your hand. It's good for recycling. Next, we have the traps. I have Coffin Cellar. Coffin Cellar makes it whenever a monster is sent to your opponent's graveyard, your opponent takes 300 damage. It doesn't matter where the monster is from. It could be from your hand, it could be from the field, or it could be from the deck. Next, we have Liberty at Last. When the monster of your control is destroyed by battle, you can activate this card, and return 2 monsters from your opponent's field to the deck. Next, you have Magic Cylinder. Magic Cylinder basically negates attacks and inflicts damage equal to the attacking monster's negated monster's attack. Then we have Primitive Revolution, which can add Liberty at Last from your graveyard or deck to your hand. And also, if a synchro monster is battling another monster, you can destroy that monster without damage calculation. Finally, we have Zoma the Spirit. I know it normally isn't good to include this, but it's good for effect damage. A monster who destroys that monster, or a monster who destroys this card, will have their attack points inflicted as damage to the opponent. Now we have extra deck monsters. You have 1 Baroness de Fleur. It basically can return itself from the field to the extra deck, and you can special summon a level 6 or lower monster from your graveyard. Also, it works with another monster that I am about to show, Centaur Mina. I have 2 of them, which which can negate traps during your turn, and also reset those traps if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard. As for synchro summoning a wind warrior type monster, you can target one monster on the field, and you can target one card on the field and destroy it. It's good for disrupting your opponent's plays. Next finally we have 2 Chevalier de Fleurs. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a trap card during your turn, negate that trap spell or trap and destroy it. So if your opponent has a quick play spell or a trap card that needs to stay on the field for it to work, this card can disrupt that play. Well, I hope you liked what I showed you. Please feel free to like, share, and comment. And also, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Don't forget to support the YouTube community. This is So Says the Leader signing off. Peace out.